A while back, I had a grandchild ask me a question. Hey, Grandpa, what should I be when I grow up? You know, I've had a lot of questions in my life, but that one scared me the most. It's not because I didn't care, it's because I didn't trust my answer. See, like you, I've worked hard, I've changed careers, I've made a lot of mistakes that cost me a lot of years. I've watched companies grow and then shrink and then disappear altogether. You see, standing there, I realized something uncomfortable. The advice that had worked for me might actually really be damaging to them. When I was younger, the rules were clear. Pick a direction, stay loyal, keep your head down, everything will work out. I built a career, I built an identity around what I did for a living, and I believed stability would come from sticking it out. That belief shaped my worldview for decades. And then it didn't. And then the world changed. You see, industries just didn't evolve, they disappeared. Jobs didn't fade slowly, they vanished. And technology didn't even ask for permission. You see, I watched smart people get blindsided. I watched experience lose value really overnight. I watched loyalty, it stopped meaning what it used to mean. And then more than once I had to start over. Not at 25. Later, with more responsibility, more fear, and you know what? A lot less margin for error. That's when I learned something that no one had told me early enough. The world doesn't reward certainty. The world now rewards adaptability. Here's the cost that no one warned you about. When your identity is tied to your job, change, it doesn't just threaten your income. It threatens who you are, and I felt that change personally. And I see that same risk lining up for our grandkids, only faster, louder, and more overwhelming than whatever faced us. They're being asked to choose a career when they can't even see the terrain. That's not a failure on their part. It's just the world they're inheriting. Every week, there's another headline. AI is taking jobs. The future of work is uncertain. Careers are evaporating. That noise creates fear. But fear misses the real problem. The problem isn't that jobs are changing. The problem is that kids are being told to choose before they've seen enough of the world to choose well. You see, and that's where we come in. So here's the part that surprised me. As chaotic as the world is, this is our opportunity to jump in. Why? Because we've already lived through so much. Career pivots, economic shocks, new technologies, having to reinvent ourselves. Not perfectly, not cleanly, but honestly. You see, we carry something our grandkids don't have yet. Perspective. Not all the answers, perspective. You see, I stopped thinking of myself as somebody who should tell them what to do. You know what? That never worked anyway. Instead, I started thinking of myself as somebody who could walk with them as they figured it out. You see, not as an authority, but as a guide who, quite frankly, has fallen into a few holes myself. And you know what? That understanding changed everything. You see, teenagers today, they're not lazy, they're not lost, they're just overwhelmed. Too many choices, too much pressure, too much noise. And here's the part that most adults miss. Teenagers can only be interested in what they've actually seen. Their world lives on a screen, which means their perspective is narrow. And you know what? That's by design. You can help widen that vision. So what did I do? I stopped asking questions that felt like interviews, and I went for curiosity. I started asking questions like, hey, what can you do for hours without getting bored? What feels easy to you that others struggle with? And what kind of problems do you notice without even saying anything? The answers to those questions will tell you more than any resume ever will. Here's something I learned almost too late. Interest isn't sparked in a classroom. Interest comes from experience. So instead of just talking about careers, we started doing things together. We visited places, we met people, we saw how work was actually getting done. Not sending them off on their own, okay, going with them. And that's what mattered. Yes, don't get me wrong, tests can help. Aptitude, it does matter. But tests, you see, have a blind spot. You can't express interest in a job that you don't even know exists. Most kids have never even heard of half the roles that are going to shape their future. That's not their failure. That's why exposure matters so much more than explanation. You see, our generation has something much, much more powerful. We have connections. Our generation has something much more powerful. Connections we've made over a lifetime. We know people in trades, people in healthcare, people in business, in tech, in roles that online kids have never seen. One conversation, maybe one experience, one shadowing at a job site, just one, could absolutely change the whole way a young person sees their future. And you know what? I've seen it happen. This isn't so much around career planning, it's about relationship building. When you explore a future with a child and not for them, an amazing shift happens. They feel capable, they feel supported, you know what? They feel seen. One day long from now, they won't remember job titles. They're going to remember this. You were the person who helped me believe that I can figure this out. That's the legacy. Not certainty, not answers, presence. The world is going to keep changing. But curiosity, guidance, human connection, that's what really matters. And you know what? It's not too late for us to help them figure that out.